mean, your talent, your ability, how did you manage to use it to be effective on a match day? And by that, I mean, obviously you've just spoken about playing with freedom, about enjoying your football, training and watching these guys perform. But obviously to be effective on a match day, to contribute to winning matches, to contribute to by scoring goals and assists, how was it easy for you to combine the two? It's in your talent and being effective, or was that something that you had to develop over time?
Yeah, I think it's something you have to develop over time. I think especially when you're young, coming into a first team or joining a new club, I think, of course, at first you have to settle and find your feet and build relationships. And I think the biggest thing for me was when I started to build relationships with my teammates and started to show in training, especially what I can do. I think then that's ultimately when you go on the pitch and you start to express yourself, when you know your teammates know what you're going to bring to the team and what's going to make you different to everyone else. And I think obviously in games, sometimes you have to sacrifice your own game for what's going to be right to get the 3 points, or maybe you have to play a bit more defensive when you're winning or stuff like that. But I think it's important to know that when you get the opportunity on the pitch in the areas where that's what makes you different, I think it's important to express yourself and show what you can do and not be afraid of losing the ball or making a mistake, because ultimately I think when you're too focused on making mistakes or pleasing other people, that's when your game starts to get affected. And I think you have to just, like I said, in the right moments, do what makes you happy and what makes you different to everyone else, and that's what's going to separate you.
I'm hoping that people obviously can listen to you speak and your journey and what's made you successful and take a lot from that, because there's a lot of guys playing who don't have that attitude, that they probably are a bit safe, or they do look to not express themselves and stuff like that. So hopefully, when obviously the success you've had and the personality you have will resonate with people. But it seemed by the age of about 19, and it's pretty rare in the game for somebody to seem like they have continued success, and that there's almost no setbacks. Until obviously up until the age of 19, did there come a point where you thought, I might have to leave Liverpool, or how did that come about?
It probably was when I was about 19. You start to think, like, how realistic is it that I'm going to play for the first team and make a name for yourself at Liverpool and go on to play regular first team football here, because obviously it's such a big club. You're playing with some of the best players in the world, if not most of the best players in the world. So I think that you have to make a mature decision on what's best for your future. And obviously at the age of 19, I started to think, what is going to be best for me now? And I think that I had an opportunity to move on, and I had some clubs there ready to take me. And like I said, with my family again, I made a decision that Swansea was going to be the next step for me, and the football that Swansea are known for playing was going to be what suited my style of play the most. And like I said, I haven't had no regrets so far. I'm 22 now, and I think moving to Swansea was the right decision. I've made progress, and each year I've been here has been an increase on my career, and I've played more games year by year. And I think that the coming years I'll play even more and really like push on in my career, because that's ultimately what I want to do. But I think there was a time at Liverpool, I was 17, when I had quite a bad ankle injury, and that's when I was coming back from that, I did start to question, like we spoke about, the self-belief and confidence. And obviously when you come back from 5 months out injured, you're not fit, you're not sharp, and when you are coming back, you're not at the pace. And I started to think, like, how long is this going to take me to get back and up to speed? But like I said, I realised from a young age that when you can't control things on the pitch, maybe just work on something away from football. And that's when I started to really work on my fitness and strength and conditioning and stuff like that. And I was putting a lot of effort into that and working away from the club, that I managed to get myself fitter than expected. And then I was back playing games, and like I said, started to really progress again from then. So, like I said, there has been a couple setbacks, but I think from a young age, because I've had such a supportive family, I've dealt with it well and managed to find my feet and really push on again.
So you managed to overcome, obviously, during that period of time where you're injured and you had, an element of self-doubt. You managed to overcome that period by working harder, by training harder, by getting fitter. You use that as a way of coping with, like, obviously the doubt that you felt.
Yeah, because I think from a young age, my family have always told me to just find confidence in maybe doing something else. And obviously, if you're working on your fitness, you know yourself. I'm getting fitter. I'm getting stronger. So ultimately, you're telling yourself like I'm improving. So your confidence and your self belief is going to slowly start to grow. And for me, when I got my fitness back, I always knew what I could do with the football and on the pitch. So at that time, it was to work on my fitness and to work on my body and ultimately gain confidence from that. And once I'd done that, I was back playing. And once I'm on the pitch and I'm fit, I know what I can do. And then obviously from then, you don't really start to doubt your self-belief or your confidence until the next setback occurs. And then when maybe the next one occurs when I weren't playing as often as I thought, I'd do something else to gain the confidence, like I said, and or even just see my family makes me feel better, and stuff that makes you feel better is ultimately gonna help you on the pitch.
There's a lot of guys, that young players that will be at different stages of their career, that will find deciding to move clubs or to find a decision that helps their own career pretty difficult to decide. Do you remember how difficult that was for you to decide that? And for people who don't know and won't be aware, how does a conversation like that happen? Like, how do you approach Liverpool about that?
I think that it weren't really that difficult for me. I think obviously you want to spend as much time as you can at big clubs like Liverpool, and obviously you're living the dream, and not many people get to put on a Liverpool kit. But I think from quite a young age, I had a mature mindset, and ultimately I just thought that I wanted to play football and I wanted to make the next step in my journey, really. And I think it made it a bit easier for me to move to Swansea because at 14 I moved away from my family to Liverpool. So moving to Swansea at 19 wasn't really that difficult in terms of moving to a new place because I'd done it before. So I'd experienced it and I knew what it was like. I knew that as soon as I started building relationships and making friends and having relationships with my teammates, it was going to be easy for me. So when I moved to Swansea, straight away I started building relationships and settling in as quick as possible, finding a house, because obviously that makes everything easier when you got somewhere to call a home and you're happy away from football. Like I've spoke about, it helps you on the pitch. And I think when I came to Swansea, I was super fit, and I know if I'm fit, then when I'm training, I'll show what I can do, and that's what I did. I showed what I can do, and I managed to make my debut on the first game of the season. So I must have done something right in the pre-season to show what I can do, and I know that when I am on the pitch and training and people are watching, that I will make a good impression, and I back myself with that all the time.